Hey everybody, welcome to Eat Well for Less. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how you can still eat healthy and well for less money, and especially right now during our, inflation, high food prices. There you still can eat well with saving money. Okay, so first off, planning your meals. Okay, so healthy eating is a huge part of living a healthy lifestyle and overall your overall well-being. So although a frequent objection I hear as a nutrition coach is that healthy food is far more expensive than convenience foods, I know that it is, but there are foods you can buy that are healthy and are cheap. Okay, so even if you have the desire to eat healthier, you may feel like you can't afford it. So hopefully today I'll fix that for you. So thankfully, the truth is you don't have to spend extraordinary amounts of money at the grocery store each week to eat healthy foods at home. So what I'm going to do today is talk about the strategies you can use to eat healthy on a budget so you don't have to choose between saving money or eating well. So strategy number one is planning your meals. I'm all for meal planning, and it doesn't have to be elaborate. I even teach this to my clients. Preparation is essential if you want to eat healthy on a budget. By purchasing all the ingredients you need ahead of time, you're less likely to order takeout halfway through the week. Planning meals also helps reduce the number of trips to the grocery store, because I know I don't like to go more than one time a week. And that's where you're likely to buy things you don't need. So make sure you have a list and try not to make impulse purchases. I know it's hard, but you just have to try and stick to that. If you plan a week of meals, pick one day to shop for everything you need. That's what I do. Furthermore, having a meal planning system to go off of each week helps you get into a groove of planning your meals. If you feel repetitive or boring, like you're eating the same thing week after week after week, try doing one of those designated days like Meatless Mondays, Taco Tuesday, Italian Wednesday, because that can help keep it not boring and then you'll want to do it. So if you haven't tried implementing meal days yet, give it a try as you plan your meals for the week ahead. So one thing that you can do right now to help you with that is compile a list of recipes that you know that you and your family and everyone that lives in your house enjoy. These can be recipes that you already cook, and you can find some new inspirations on Pinterest or on any healthy food account you follow. I also offer recipes with built-in grocery lists too. So having a recipe base to shuffle through helps you not repeat recipes every week and still have an abundance of choices as you plan your meals for the week. One thing you can do is get a monthly, just print off a free calendar like for the month and write in the recipes on the different days and spread them out, and then plan for leftovers, and then that way you don't have to cook as much and you're maybe repeating one of those recipes, the recipes once or twice, and that's it. Okay. So the next strategy is low cost produce. So one of the most effective ways to eat well for less is to be mindful of the produce that you buy. Putting your focus on long lasting and less expensive produce is a great way to reduce food waste and spend less on nutritious fruits and veggies. I know I hate throwing away food. It bothers me because it's just like throwing away money. So these long-lasting, less expensive options include carrots, cabbage, apples, potatoes, celery, onions, melons, oranges, etc. Many pantry items can be purchased in the bulk aisle of your grocery store, saving you even more money. So you can stock up on whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. In fact, you can even grow your own herbs and spices, or at least the ones that you use most, and you can save a lot of money, and it does taste better when it's fresher. You can even grow them on your windowsill so that it doesn't have to be elaborate. And if you have the luxury of an outdoor space for gardening, you could even expand it to grow some of your most consumed vegetables, the ones that you're always eating. Like we go through tomatoes and lettuce here a lot, so those are the ones that I tend to grow more of on my own. So another helpful strategy for buying healthy whole foods for less is to purchase produce that's in season. It's always cheaper when it's that season. Okay, so in season items are way less expensive, but they're more flavorful and or at their peak of freshness. So keep a list of what's in season on your fridge to keep those items fresh in your mind, so when you make your grocery list, you can put them on there. And I will be putting in the show notes a list of low-cost, long-lasting produce that you can print out and have it handy. So the third strategy is batch cooking. I do this with my meal prep. Okay, I only shop once on Sunday, cook a bunch of stuff, and have it ready for the week, or put it in the freezer. So batch cooking is another method in your eating well on a budget toolbox that will save you tremendous amounts of time. The idea behind batch cooking is to cook a large portion of your meals for the week all at once, so you can simply reheat them when it's time to eat. So some of the methods to use to be creative to create your simple meals for batch cooking would be cook a grain for the week. So brown rice, quinoa, couscous, or millet are a few options, or even cauliflower rice. I substitute that in for a lot of recipes. Cook a vegetable medley for the week. Fill a baking sheet with 2 of your favorite veggies. I cook broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts in the oven. I put them in olive oil, put some garlic powder on it, and cook it at like 400 degrees for like 45 minutes. And it's so good. And people that don't like Brussels sprouts will eat them because they don't taste like Brussels sprouts. So you can cook your favorite veggies with whatever seasonings you like. Plan your protein. So some people choose to pre-cook their protein for the week, or you can stick with the pre-cooking do the rest of your meals and then cook the protein each night. It's up to you. That is still quicker when you're only cooking the protein and you already have everything else ready. Okay, so you don't have to pre-cook everything ahead of time. When I cook salmon in my air fryer, I can even put it in frozen, and it takes like 12 to 15 minutes and it's done. Okay, so it's super quick. So for easy lunches, you can batch cook a large pot of soup or create mason jar salads. They're nutritious and simple. And when you use the long-lasting, less expensive produce, you can really make some cheap lunches. Okay, so one step that you could take right now is to create a list of your favorite grains, vegetables, proteins, and sauces, and add them to your list of when you go grocery shopping, and then you can rotate them in so that you have variety. The next strategy is freezer stash. Okay, I use my freezer a lot. The goal here is to eat well without spending a fortune on your groceries or a ton of time in the kitchen. So there are multiple ways you can use your freezer to your advantage to help you with this. So we tend to opt for takeout because we feel we don't have enough time to cook a proper meal. Perhaps your work ran later than expected. Your afternoon was jam-packed with family activities, or you just simply forgot to thaw something out. I'd have done that before. Okay, so this is where freezer comes in handy. And there are a few strategies to implement when making your freezer your solid backup plan. Keep an emergency meal in your freezer at all times. These are for the nights that you don't have time to cook, and it will save you from going through the drive-thru, which is not cheap anymore. Probably cost you $40, $50 just to take your family to the drive-thru. Have a meal that you can warm up in the oven or microwave, pair it with a side salad or frozen veggie, and you've got a dinner on the table quickly with very minimal effort. So keeping a stash of frozen vegetables, seafood, poultry, and fruits will help you stay on track these days where you need some ingredients to supplement your recipe, okay? And it saves you a trip from going to the grocery store. When you catch these items on sale, stock up your freezer and enjoy the savings. You can also use a resource such as mygrocerydeals.com to find deals that you don't want to miss. I always buy frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables are actually fresher than fresh vegetables, because by the time the fresh vegetables and fruit get to the grocery store, they're still fresh, but when they're frozen at their peak of freshness. So I always have a ton of frozen vegetables on hand, just in case. And then if you are cooking like large stews and soups, go ahead and portion out the bowls and put them in a freezer bag and store it for later. I do that all the time. When I make my chili, I freeze half of it and then we eat half of it. When I make homemade turkey meatballs in the air fryer, I cook a double batch. And then I keep one portion in the freezer, and then I keep the other for that week. And it's so much easier because homemade meatballs take forever to make because you're making the meatballs by hand. So I always do it that way. So what you could do right now is take stock of your freezer and make a plan of what you need to stock up on and add that to your grocery list. So the last strategy is your app toolkit. So there are a bunch of apps to help you with a lot of these strategies, okay? So the strategies that you have learned so far will help you eat well for less. And the tools that I want to share with you today will assist you in making it even easier on your wallet and your schedule. And I will list these in the show notes. We know that grocery shopping with a list helps us stay on a budget, because I always have a list. And having a grocery list app can further streamline your shopping, because we always have our phones with us. So it's easier than writing it down, because there's been some times where I'll get to the grocery store and my paper list is still at the house. Okay, so having it on your phone is going to be a time saver. Okay, so there's let's see, some grocery lists are just down, you can download them to your phone. Like I said, it's Our Groceries, AnyList, and Mealtime. Like I said, I'll post these in the notes. If you need some help creating a grocery list, you can use a meal planning app such as Emails, PlateJoy, or Yummly, because they'll have recipe ideas, and then you can generate the shopping list right from those recipes. This is also something that I teach my clients. I give them recipes, and it already has a grocery list. So if you need something like that, reach out to me, because we can work together on that. So another aspect of eating well for less is having a well-stocked pantry and knowing what you have, so you don't buy, I don't think I have that, and then you come home and you end up having like 10 of something, right? And then you can utilize your pantry items to take advantage. So Pantry Check is an app that allows you to catalog what you have on hand easily. And the next time you're at the grocery store and wondering if you have mustard at home, you can quickly look and see if you have it. Pantry Check also notifies you when your pantry items are expiring soon, so that they don't go to waste. So that's always a good one, because sometimes I don't use something and the next thing I know it expired like 6 months ago. And then last but not least, in the Eating Well for Less toolbox, grocery deal apps that help you get the best deals on your groceries. Flip, I'll put this in the list, FLIPP, is an app that you will find for the best deals on your groceries. You can also use the app to help you with your freezer pantry stash, especially if you're looking for those BOGO buy one get one free sales. It'll let you know. So when you combine the strategies we spoke about this week, and you'll find that eating well doesn't have to cost a lot. It takes a little work, but you can find healthy and expensive food. And I know this is where a lot of people get off track, is especially if you have kids. I started my journey when my kids were little. And yes, it takes time and it takes work. But once I started creating those habits, and I started making my own pasta sauce, and I started making my own ketchup for them because it didn't have all the sugar and garbage in it like the store-bought, I got into that habit and that routine where I always had it on hand. And then that way I knew that I didn't have to run to the store and buy some. I always had the tomato paste and the ingredients on hand. So always have that on your list, and that way you're prepared, because it's when we're not prepared that we end up and go spend $50 at McDonald's on something that is not nutritious. You don't have leftovers. Okay, you could have bought a lot of groceries for $50 and fed a lot of people. Okay, and it would have gone a lot further than just one meal. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. I'll put my links in the show notes, and I hope you enjoyed.